We're going to take a little Tesla road trip. And we're going to be going from my location down here in Waxhaw, North Carolina, over to WNC, the Western North Carolina mountains. It's going to be an adventure. We're going to be doing all sorts of things. We're going to be staying in a really cool place. And it's going to take, at this point, about 3 hours to get there. We are going to make one more quick stop to see if we can procure our ultimate road trip food. Official road trip food procured. This is the only kind of beef jerky I like to actually get from gas stations. I don't know if I mentioned it before, but I'm a bit of a snob when it comes to beef jerky because generally what I do is I like to make my own. Unfortunately, I made a batch for this trip specifically, and I tried a new recipe and it turned out to be too salty. But I'm telling you, if you're gonna go to the gas station, it's a little bit expensive. But this specific kind of jerky is a good second best. Looks like, you know, just a little under 2 hours to get to our charging station, our first stop. Woo! Spicy. It's my first view of some mountain hills. I don't know, it's kind of far away, but there's also a really cool like water tower there. Anyways, I just wanted to capture that. And seriously, I've got to stop eating all this jerky. I'm not going to have any snacks left for the rest of our little adventure here. There it is. Can you see it right beside that truck? Henderson County. And 8.4 miles, or 9.4 miles, I should say, until our first supercharger stop, which is actually good because I don't want to really say it out loud to make it even more real than it is, but I've got to pee. We've hit a little bit of traffic, folks. We've hit a little bit of traffic. Just as I started speaking about how my bladder was filling up, we've suddenly run into some traffic. So it looks like it might be another maybe half hour or so, 35 minutes according to the screen. Spotted the first waterfall of the trip. First waterfall of the trip, folks. And just in case you were wondering, that slowdown, that 40 minutes of traffic we just sat in, was all because, I guess it's because this lane is closed. The next time I see you, we should finally be at the our supercharger stop. And we've arrived. Bladder unfilled successfully. To kill some time, I think what we're gonna do over there apparently is some sort of like little grocery store, and we're gonna need something to eat for this evening. So we're gonna head over there and you know, we're gonna see what we can get for dinner. Check out this cool little, I don't know, to me it looks a little old-timey strip mall. Try and find the smallest onion we can, because I don't need much. We've got dinner procured from the grocery store in the cool old-timey sort of rundown strip mall. We've got about 30 minutes left in our charge, which should be just enough time to head over to that Applebee's and yeah, have a beer or something. This guy in this white car, he was just literally driving like off the road. I'm honestly trying to keep my distance from this guy because not only did he do it once, but he did it twice. Off the road again. T-minus 8 minutes, and I can barely contain my excitement. I'm actually just super excited to show you guys where we're going to be spending the next few nights. Whoops, gonna run into something there. Anyways, we're almost there is basically what I'm trying to say. And we've arrived, finally. Let's get in there and see what's going on here. Drive to the top of the hill and Mountain Shine is located at your right near the bathhouse. All right, I think we got it. To the top of the hill. So I think this building right here is the bathhouse. All right, folks. Did you catch a peek at where we're staying for the next couple nights? All right, I don't want to say too much. I haven't even seen the inside of this place yet, besides a couple pictures, of course. So let's get out, let's explore this place together. I think it's open. All right. Well, the first piece of good news is that when we need to go to the bathroom, we're just a short walk away, which is good because I tend to have to go to the bathroom at night sometimes. Looks like that's our little wood stove. So this is where we're going to be staying for the next couple nights. It is a custom built, well, it used to be a horse trailer, and now it's like a custom built out sleeping cabin type thing. I don't know. Let's do a quick little walk around. Looks like that's going to be the bed right there. There's some pillows. Can you open these from outside? No, they're sealed shut. Good. Nice little area to sit. Nice little area to eat if we need to. Looks like we've got heat. I think it's got heat and AC in it. We won't need the AC, but we might need the heat. Some more nice little places to sit. And I think this is supposed to just be open. Let's see, look at these cool touches on the doors here with these kind of nailed in wood scrap type things. Cool little shelf right there. All right. Without further ado, let's enter. All right. I don't know how much you can see, because I will say it's pretty cozy in here. But dang, I mean, what a cool little place, right? I swear, when I saw the pictures of this thing on the internet, it was almost fate. Let's see, we got us a little microwave in case we need it. We've got our burner to cook our dinner for tonight. We've got a cool little fridge down here so that we can store our beer and some other stuff. Let's see, what is this? Oh, look, we got look at this cool sink. Oh, look. That's interesting. It's like a pump. You just pump your water out. I've never actually seen that before. I feel like I'm living old-timey. And then, of course, we've got our little drawers and stuff that we probably won't use. Some utensils. Let's see, do we have... Yeah, we've got knives. What I really actually want is I need some sort of a pan. So hopefully they've got that. Yeah, they do. They've got plenty of pots and pans and all that. All right, some more linens. Perfect. And that is where we're going to be sleeping for the night. Where is... there's the thing that's going to be keeping us warm. In fact, it's already warm. I guess they kind of already started it for us, which is a nice touch. How do I turn this up if I want? I don't know. Nonetheless, I can feel the heat coming out the bottom of this thing already, and it is going to keep us nice and toasty, I think. We've got 2 nights in this sort of retrofitted old horse trailer. And yeah, I thought it would be the perfect destination for the first little mini road trip in the Tesla. Now, to be honest with you, I want to do a lot of camping in the Tesla. One of the reasons that I invested in the Tesla in the first place was because they're like the perfect car for camping in. There's like a camp mode where you can set it to where it keeps the heat of the air on for the whole night and all of this stuff. But I don't have any mattresses or anything. I don't have any of the accessories that I'm going to need for camping in the Tesla. So another thing that I want to do is just start exploring and checking out some cool destinations just like this place. And when I saw the pictures, I fell in love. I thought it was super unique. I imagined myself, I don't know, camped out in that bed for the next couple nights, just being all cozy. Tomorrow we're going to go on like a bigger hike and, you know, see more waterfalls and different things like that. But for today, I think what we're going to do is just kind of cozy up in the little horse trailer here, explore the actual property, and yeah, just have a good time. I want to share with you one of the little travel hacks that I've learned over the years, and that is to bring your own linens, especially if you have, a special blankie like I do. Try it next time. Bring your own linens, bring your own pillow, and you're welcome for that little tip. Before we actually get going and exploring, let's relax for a minute, crack us a brewski, and just enjoy the fact that we finally made it here. It actually ended up taking about 5 hours to get to this place, most in part because of that little slowdown, all that traffic that we hit in Hendersonville. Like I said before, I think there's like 3 miles of trails here, so we're gonna go out in a minute and we're gonna see what we can find. We're gonna see what we can discover and at least check out the environment that's around here. But nonetheless, my goal is to go outside and get nice and chilly so that we can come back inside to this cozy little, what do you call it, a reconditioned horse trailer. Beer consumed. Now it's time to go out and, I don't know, see what's around here, explore this place a little bit. But before we do that, we're gonna check out that bathhouse right in front of me because, as usual, well, I gotta pee, of course. Ooh. All right. Got this little heater in here. Got us a nice shower. I'm gonna tell you what, this place actually smells like brand new. You know that like brand new fresh cut wood or brand new fresh house smell? That's what this place has got going on. Speaking of going on, what's going on with my hat here? And of course, as any bathhouse should have, we've got the necessary toilet. Oh, I think we found us a trail, actually. It says Chaps Run and Blueberry Barn. I'm telling you guys, this brings back some pretty good memories for me. If you haven't seen my channel before, a few years ago, this is kind of like what I was doing. It wasn't the way that I started YouTube. I started YouTube when I was building a video game. That's a whole different story. But then I kind of got into this whole like hiking and exploring, and I used to come up to the mountains here all the time. And I've actually done a lot of hikes in this area right around here. And then, for whatever reason, I've just kind of stopped doing it. And I've been missing something in my soul, there's that feeling of having like a hole in your soul. That rhymes too. But that feeling of having a hole in your soul is what I've been feeling. And I'm not saying that, there's nothing that can really fill that hole except for you. But I'll tell you what, for me personally, coming out and just being in an area like this, in the mountains, surrounded by nature and good smells and things like that, it fills the hole in my soul, at least temporarily. Laurel Tunnel, that way. Does that look tunnely to you? I think that's what they mean by Laurel Tunnel. Is this plant called laurel? I don't think so. Isn't that plant called rhododendron? Don't you like saying rhododendron? I like saying rhododendron. If you listen carefully, you can hear the whirring, natural sounds of a chainsaw. Look at that big cow down there. I don't know if you can see this, but hold on. The thing has huge horns, and he's looking at me. Yeah, it looks like we just got some hay and stuff in here. All right. Normally, if it were springtime, I would take advantage of this little brook and I would dip my hand in and get my head wet. But though it's not freezing, it is not warm out here. So for now, we're just gonna sort of admire it. Maybe listen to the sounds for a minute. Without stepping in that cow poo. Look what I discovered. Right at the top of the hill. Right when you need it the most. A nice little mountain hammock. Alright. I mean, you can't not try a mountain hammock out. How do I get in this thing now? Just jump. Oh. Let's get over like this. Alright, we gotta get balanced. Alright. There we go. I made it back to the main intersection, and if you look really hard and squint your eyes, right in between those two trees, you can see our little homestead for the next few days. Okay, so the sun's gone down for the most part. Or at least it's not blinding anymore. I found myself a little spot in that rocking chair that I've kind of just been hanging out in for the past, I don't know, hour or so. Before I cook dinner tonight, I'm going to get a fire going out here, in that fire pit right there. I'll tell you one thing though, there is always this massive satisfaction when you actually do get the fire going. Even though I can hear a few things in the distance, there's just this like blanket of silence that's kind of fallen upon this whole place. And I'm realizing I'm alone. I mean, don't get me wrong, I knew I was coming up here alone. And in general, I like spending a lot of my time alone. But one of the things that I appreciate most about little adventures like this is sadness, is kind of a good way to put it. There's this sadness that just sort of like falls over me. Like, I miss my family, I miss my kids. You know, there's a little piece of me that wants to just like jump in my car and like run back home right now. But I also find an appreciation in the fact that I get to experience missing them like that, if that makes any sense. On a more serious note, the fire's still cranking. I still haven't cooked dinner. We're going to head back into the trailer there in a minute and cook up the steak. I'm probably gonna end up having this whole place smelling like a sticky onion. And let's pick out a few mushrooms. Get you some salt. Flip it over. My sister's husband always calls these things the meat tampons. And the first time I ever heard him say that, I thought it was absolutely hilarious. Pan seems nice and toasty. Let's get our steak in there. And I opted against throwing anything really, throwing any sort of sauce or anything. So we're just gonna hope for the best and hope everything doesn't stick to the pan. I wish I had some butter, but I don't. In the meantime, I saw a moth in here, and I'm trying to hunt it down so I can kill it with this sponge. Did I get it? Alright. Normally I don't like killing bugs. Usually I even let the spiders live in my room, but not tonight. This guy, he had to go. How about we do a little one of these numbers? Might always make it a little better. Real quick, let's take a little peek out the window. See if you can see the fire burning out there. I'm hoping to have a few flames left so that we can take our steak and kind of grill it on or wave it through the flames. Let's head out to the fire. Let's see about just kind of holding it in there and trying not to drop it for a minute. And that, folks, is how you cook a steak in a horse trailer. It's actually pretty good. I think I can taste the campfire. Heading to the bathhouse in the middle of the night in the pitch black where you can't see anything. It's just a little bit creepy. But it is nice and warm in here, and I can appreciate that. Now, I will say, the nice hot shower is definitely the way to end the night here. Not only did it wash all the smoke from the campfire off me, but it kind of warmed my bones. Let's hurry back. It's cold, cold, cold. So it's the middle of the night. It's about 2 a.m. I sort of snapped awake because I had to pee for the second time. And when you're out here, peeing consists of peek out the windows just to make sure there's nothing weird going on out there. And then I bundle up in my blanket and run outside for a minute. Fucker. Let me show you the moon while I'm out here. Still full. Good morning. I made it. I actually ended up falling back asleep for a few hours last night. I was up till like 4 a.m., fell back asleep, and it's right around 7 now, so I've just been kind of hanging out in the bed, watching a little bit of YouTube, and admiring this sun coming up over the mountains. There's just something kind of cool about watching it from all of these little windows rather than sitting out there in the freezing cold doing it. But what I am going to do is I brought my favorite tea mug here, so once I kind of get a few YouTube videos in me and just kind of get motivated for the day, I'm going to get up. We're going to boil some water over there. I'll make some tea. We'll probably sit outside for a little while and just kind of be quiet and watch the day come to life. Just still watching some YouTube videos, and don't judge me, but I realized I hadn't drank my IPA that I bought at the grocery store yesterday, so also, if you're wondering what's for breakfast, you know it. It's the best way to start a day. Hot and spicy jerky to get your insides kind of fired up. I still love this like pump thing. I don't know. I'll show you something else I've discovered. Right after we put this on the old stove. But anyway, something else I've discovered is right in here. That's where our water's coming from. So I guess there's just like a little pump system that goes down into this jug. I thought it was pretty cool. Somewhere in my bag here, I've got like a smoky tea. Oh wait, this is like a Japanese milk tea. I think this is the one I'm gonna go with. And where's my other one? And I've got like a smoky tea right here. Let's see if I can actually get this in my teacup without spilling. Alright, gotta pay less attention to the camera and more attention to the water pouring. Oh, shoot. Tea time! I guess we're going to be hiking through the Nantala National Forest. Going to be going by Black Rock Mountain. And, yeah. Let's go on a hike. Okay, we're not quite there yet. And I feel a little bit bad that I haven't been showing you this beautiful drive on the way, man. I've been going all around this Lake Toxaway. This is the little thing that I spotted off on the side that I thought maybe we could get up here and get a cool view from. And I think I was right. Okay. Can you see that in the distance? You can barely see it, but that is Lake Toxaway right there. And we've been traveling just like all the way, or I've been traveling just all the way around this lake, just kind of like climbing the mountain. And you can't really see it from here, but it's just absolutely surrounded by amazing houses. There's an example right there of just like basically one of the many homes that's surrounding this neighborhood. Here's another thing I can show you before we even get to the trail. See those icicles? Speaking of icicles, I had to pull over one more time just to show you this thing. I mean, look at that. I don't know if I can. All right. I mean, this is just one. Panther Town parking. Canaan land. And we've arrived. The start of the trail, or at least I think the start of the trail is up there. We're in Nintala National Forest. But what I want to do is I want to go into I'm trying to go into my All Trails app here, and we're going to start our trail. I don't know if you can consider that a waterfall, but it is water falling. That's pretty much the weirdest tree I've ever seen. I'm entering that phase of where my mind is sort of just telling me, hey, slow down. I don't know why every time I start like a hike, I'm always kind of like on this rush pace. And it usually takes a little bit of time to kind of get into everything and start to be surrounded by nature and stuff like that. And maybe it's just sort of like what I've been practicing over the years, but the main thought that keeps entering my head is just, hey, chill out, slow down, take your time, just walk, breathe, and enjoy the fact that you're actually like in the middle of all of this, right? In the winter, it's kind of nice to be surrounded by these things because they're one of the few green things, besides some of this like cool moss and stuff like that. If you've watched my channel before, you know that moss is one of my favorite plants in the world. I'm not going to disturb this little patch, but I just want to point out another reason that it's one of my favorites is because it stays nice and bright green even in the winter. It actually seems to kind of thrive in the colder weather. I'm always looking for like these cool little peaceful spots. These little like hollows. You know what I like about these places? I just imagine like that when I leave, all the fairies and little forest creatures come back out to play in their little meadow down there. We are almost at an important intersection. In fact, this may be the important intersection, either that way or that way. Let me check the map. Yes, we are at the important intersection. Now, we could go left, which is that way, or we could go right, which is that way. If we go left, we're going to hit waterfall, 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 waterfall. So I think what we're going to do instead is we're going to go counterclockwise. We're going to go right, and that will allow us to go around this whole back side and then just hit all of the waterfalls at the very end on the way back. So that's one of the other like massive reasons that I love using things like All Trails and these apps to kind of map your hikes out for you. When I first kind of got into hiking, I would just show up at like a state park or a national forest or something, and I would just kind of like follow signs and find my way around, which is fine. It's kind of cool, it's a little bit easier to get lost that way and that sort of thing. But what having like a map does, especially something like All Trails, which allows you to download offline maps. So even if you don't have like internet connectivity, it'll kind of show you where to go. It sort of optimizes your experience, for situations like I just showed you, where you can kind of, pinpoint all of the beautiful scenic things, and you can kind of save those for the end of your trip. I guess the rain happening the last few days did sort of affect something, but you know what I like about this kind of stuff? It reminds me of a video game where you gotta find all of the different rocks that you gotta step on. It's like if you step in the water and get your socks wet, you've lost. Should we go from that rock to that rock to that rock? Or should we go from this rock and jump over to there? 1, here's next. 2, 3, 4, 5. The good news is we're on dry trail again. And the other good news is we're still beside this beautiful little, what do you call this, a river or a creek? I'm going to call this a creek. This sound right here reminds me so much of growing up in Canada. I don't know why I remembered that, but just growing up, as kids, I used to remember we used to be so fascinated by that. Just walking it was always on the sides of the streets, where the curb goes up a little bit. So there'd be that kind of, water runoff. And we'd just walk down there and just crunch, 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 crunch. Oh, cool. I guess we found ourselves a little beach in the middle of the mountain woods. I just kind of came to this conclusion in my head. What makes life a lot more fun is gamifying everything. I've been talking about hopping from rock to rock. Even just any little aspect of your life, if you can somehow find a way to turn it into a little game, or just kind of a different, more playful way of thinking about it, it's amazing how much more enjoyable life becomes. And if you think about it, that's what we all did when we were kids, right? Everything was a game, everything was fun, because we didn't have to worry about anything, or if we were lucky, we didn't have to worry about anything. But we can still practice that as adults, gamifying everything, turning everything into a little game. I think that's the challenge too, is finding ways to do that, and constantly thinking about it and practicing it until it becomes something that you just naturally do, and you don't have to think about it and practice it anymore. Still just marching forward. Whoa, 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 whoa. That was a really icy spot. Look at this little jelly fungus I found on the side of the tree here. It's actually harder than you think. Check out this little side quest. I don't know if you can see it in the camera, but it feels kind of misty in here. Look at this awesome rock slide just out in the middle of nature. I don't know if I'd want to be sliding down it right now. It's a little icy, but how cool is that, huh? Now we're in sort of a pine section of the woods. And pine trees are cool because they grow so close together, and they're just I don't know, they're I always kind of think of them as people. Just these, just groups, crowds of people, all kind of huddled up together. And it just makes for an interesting effect. It almost kind of tricks your eyes, or you can't necessarily look at anything specific. It forces you to sort of take in all of them at once, because they're so uniform and stuff like that. We're gonna head down this way to Granny Burrell Falls. I don't really want to go down there because it seems a little icy, but let's let's do it anyways. And then I think we can continue up the trail and probably see a better view anyways. But let's get our first little peek at Granny Burl Falls. I will say, this little like side trail thing, it's been a really cool like rooty trail. Like all the trees are real rooty. That's just a pretty small waterfall. We're on top of it now. I guess that view from down below was one of the best we can get, but maybe on my way back I'll try and find a little spot down on that little sand bed there. There she is from the bottom. Honestly, I thought that little rock slide thing that we found on the trail a little while back was just as cool. But nonetheless, Granny Burl Falls. So we've got a while to go. It says we've got about an hour and a half remaining. We've been hiking for about 2 hours. And I'm guessing it'll probably be more like 2 hours, maybe even a little bit longer until we're done. So the next time I see you, I don't know, we'll be looking at something cool. Well, it's not totally cool yet, but I mean, all stairways in the mountains lead to something worth looking at, right? This is cool. Like rocky outcrops and just surrounded by massive mountains. Don't get me wrong, I like being in gorges and waterfalls and all that cool stuff. But, I mean, standing on top of a mountain like this and just looking out into that, it just like brings this sense of vastness, or this awareness of vastness to you. On one hand, it makes the world feel so gigantic. And on the same hand, it makes it feel so small too. It's such like a weird feeling. On the trail again. I can't wait to get on the trail again. I can't wait to get on that trail again. Even though I don't know if I'm on it. But I think I am. These cool moss that turn red on the top. That's kind of neat, huh? Look at that massive boulder over there, huh? Pretty sure we're actually walking on one of those things right now. But we're actually heading upwards. See? Upwards. But check out these ice sculptures on the side of that mountain over there. I'm gonna go to that point, and I always get a little nervous. Hopefully it doesn't just drop over here. I didn't realize I had a fear of heights until I started, okay, good. Until I started putting myself in situations like this. See that cliff over there? That's what I really wanted to kind of capture. Look at all that ice coming off that. How cool is that? I will say this now that I'm walking back. I am especially terrified of losing my phone on hikes like this. That was something I never really used to experience because I would just throw it in my backpack and not worry about it too much. But now I've got my wallet built into it. Whoa, oh, I got ice. I've got my car keys built into it. I've got my map built into it. So basically, if I lose my phone, I'm completely screwed. And I can't even really secure it because I got to keep pulling it out of my pocket to check on the map and things like that. So, you know, there's downsides to everything, and I guess the Lord of the cell phones has ingrained into my lifestyle just so much that now I'm dependent on it. We do have one more waterfall, and it's a pretty good one from what I can see. I don't know if you can see it yet, but pretty cool to me. Pretty sure this is called Schoolhouse Falls, or at least according to the to the map. That'd be super cool if you could walk behind it, but I don't think you can. Ooh. Now, if you've watched any of my previous hiking videos, you'll remember that usually when I pointed the camera towards the trail like this, you'd see my little dog's butthole bouncing along in front of me. But he died. And as kind of like traumatic and emotional as that was for me, like for instance, another reason I haven't really been exploring like this is just because I couldn't. It was hard for me to kind of like take the step to come out and do it. And I know that sounds kind of stupid, but in the same sense, losing him, even though at first it kind of felt like it restricted me, like I can't do this thing I used to love doing because I don't have, my little buddy to do it. It also opened up like a lot of, freedom I've kind of been noticing. For instance, I can just go away places that I can leave and not have to worry about when I'm home. I can do more enhanced adventures like the one we're doing now and stay at places that, don't allow pets to put their grubby little paws all over their nice little, beds and things like that. So I'm starting to see the freedom that kind of he gave me by leaving in a way too. And I mean, you can tell like I get emotional about it, but it's not a bad thing. I mean, he opened up so many doors in my past for me and did so many things with me. And, it was his time to go. It was his time to, kind of back away and not in a, I'm losing something kind of way, which is what I thought it was in the beginning. But now I'm starting to realize that it was more of a opening of just other doors. And I think that that's just how life is in general. I think that, when one door closes, another one opens. Isn't that what they always say? And sometimes it's hard to actually see that, especially when it's like painful. But you got to keep looking for the, in fact, you don't even have to keep looking for the new doors. You just have to kind of experience them, wait for them. Because they'll show up. Every time a door closes, a new door is going to open. And that's the explanation of where my little dog is. And that's the explanation of how I feel about that. Let's get back to the trail. We're officially back on the part that we've already been on. So basically now it's just going to be a hike back to the car. And ready for another night of relaxation and blissful silence. There she is, off in the distance. The thing that forces me to be bound to it. And on that same note, the thing that gives me so much freedom. Hold on, I had to stop the car for this one because there's a pretty wicked waterfall just hanging on the side of the road here. This whole Toxaway Lake thing is just full of these beautiful homes. You can kind of see a pinch of one over there, but it's also got built-in waterfalls right on the side of the road. I love all the details that's at the bottom of waterfalls like that. continuing back. So I came across this Lake Toxaway Nature Park just on the side of the road, and I figured I figured why not make a little stop and come check it out, see what it's all about. And that's pretty much exactly what it is. It's a nature park, an actual playground. Oh, that's cool. It's like kind of like a big hammock or something for the kids. Whoa, 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 whoa. Well, that was Lake Toxaway Nature Park. Like I said, I just saw a sign on the side of the road and I wanted to come check it out. And we're back. First things first. Let's get this heater cranking. I got a sub for dinner, so that'll be easy. Some ambiance. Now tonight's gonna be a lot of the same, to be honest with you. I know it wasn't like a massive amount of miles or anything like that, but just being outside all day, climbing up and down mountains, it wears you out. So I'm kind of looking forward to getting the fire going outside, having a hot shower after the fire, just like I did last time, eating my sub, tucking myself into that bed, and what I'm looking for even more, and what I'm looking forward to even more, is heading home in the morning, back to my family, back to reality, back to my life. And that's it. But before we get all that started, let's crack a brew and sit back and relax for a little bit. Ugh, get these shoes off. Ugh. I don't know why I have this weird habit of waking up in the middle of the night, but nonetheless, we're up again. And tonight, I just figured I'd go for a little bit of a steak snack. It's even tastier the next day. Good morning! And so concludes our adventure in the custom horse trailer behind me at Lake Toxaway in North Carolina. We experienced blissful silence. We got to go on an awesome hiking trip, saw some magical things. But most of all, the thing that impressed me the most about this place is simply the experience that it afforded me. And that's really what life is all about, if you think about it. It's the feeling that a place like this custom horse trailer behind me gives you. And I think the thing that excites me most about the world, especially in this like new technological era where we've got just access to so many different experiences if we just go look for them, is that there's so many of these sort of things out there. There's so many creative people. There's so many people building like cool things like this, or for whatever reason just putting together these awesome experiences for people like you and me to have. So if you want to stay in this specific place right here, again, I'll put the link down in the description. And yeah, come check out Lake Toxaway in North Carolina. There's so much more to do here than I even really touched on. I think when I looked up on All Trails, there's like 400 just trails in the nearby vicinity that you could hike. You can see waterfalls all over the place. Of course, there's other sorts of adventurous things like whitewater rafting and horseback riding, and four-wheeling, and there's tons of restaurants around here. There's cute little cities kind of, you know, all over the place. There's just amazing things to experience by coming to a place like this. So thanks for watching. And if I inspired you to do anything in this video, go out there and find an experience like this for yourself. I found this place on a website called Hip Camp. There's tons of different campsites and glamping sites and just all sorts of like different sort of experiences that you can have, but you can also search on places like Airbnb, VRBO, and there's probably a numerous list of other websites and, you know, things like that you can find cool experiences like this on. So I urge you to get out there and do that. If you've got a cool experience that you want to share with me, leave it down below in the comments. Otherwise, I appreciate you watching, and we'll see you on the next adventure.